Conference will now be recorded.
Hi guys, welcome to the weekly watch list. And today we're going to start with looking at the market as a whole. So we're still inside this rising wedge here. We did break it, but then we came right back up and we closed inside of it on the weekly. On the weekly, you made this huge reversal candle. What does that tell us? That tells us that a lot of buyers came in and bought this dip and pushed it back up. So we could see a nice pop this week higher to that 29.75, even that 3,000 mark. We do have that resistance from that megaphone. We do have that resistance there at 3,000. So if we do push that 29.75 and that 3,000 area, you're gonna watch for some rejection or some struggle there. But we could definitely have a big push as this reversal candle is it's pretty evident that a lot of buyers came in and pushed us all. You know, sellers came in strong, pushed the market all the way down, and the buyers came back, reversed it, and we'll see if they could follow through. If the buyers can't follow through, we can definitely push and try to break this rising wedge to the upside, as we attempted to break it to the downside and we failed and we reversed and came back up. We got to see what this next week comes up. If this next week does reverse and we push up, then that's going to be a good sign for higher. But if it doesn't and we fall back down, then we're going to be looking for more downside. We need to lose that 2,900 and stay below it, and more importantly that 28.72, stay below that, and that's going to tell us with confidence that we're going to the downside to at least 27.42. As this has hit the 50-day on the weekly and reverse strong, and we'll see if we can get some follow through. We are in this downtrending channel, so that 29.75 needs to break and close above it to break that channel, and more importantly 3,000, as this resistance is pretty strong, as every time it hits it, it drops. Every time it hits it, drops. Hits it, it drops. But it's looking good, looking actually good for the bulls. So let's go to the daily, and we can see that drop and then that reversal right on the 200-day, and now we're stuck between the 100-day as support and the 50-day as resistance. We could get above that 50-day. We're definitely going to 29.75 or 3,000, that area. If we can't and we lose it, and we lose that 100-day at 2,900, then we're going to be testing that 28.72 and see if we lose it. If we do lose it, then we're going to come back to that 200-day, and if we lose that, definitely going to go to that 72.42. So as of right now, it's still in a downtrend, but these are very strong buy candles, and we did have this hangman on Friday, so we either confirm down tomorrow or today, Monday, or this does a bullish engulfing and it eats that candle and it pushes up. So we should see what that goes, but it's looking like it may want to push up. So points of interest are above the 50-day, 29.75, 3,000, and then below the 100-day is going to be 28.72 and the 200-day moving average. So let's look at SPY. So SPY, you know, had that drop too, and now it came back up. Nice big bullish candles, and it's hitting that wedge trend line here, and it's having a hard time getting above. It did have this hanging man mixed with the bearish harami, but again, if we push up and we get above that 50-day, and more importantly, above 294.40, then we could definitely push to 297. If this does break down Monday and we lose that 290, and more importantly that 289.55, then that's going to confirm down, and we're going to be heading towards that 200-day. The 200-day moving average right there at 279, 278 area. So if we break this above 297, break this below, then 281, 279. All right, let's look at NQ. NQ still in this rising wedge. We broke it, but then got back above it, and now in between our 100-day and 50-day also. So if it breaks this 77.35, 74, then we'll push to 79.10. And if we lose this 100-day at 76.27.50, then we'll be going to that 75.26, and then even lower to back to the 200-day and possibly 7,200, and test that if this breaks down. But as of right now, looking like it's making a bullish engulfing for that hanging man, and it might push up. Okay, so let's look at QQQ. QQQ, same as NQ. It held that wedge trend line. It's still in a downtrend, but it held that wedge trend line, and also that weekly support of 185.50. It needs to get through this 189.30. If it can, it could definitely try it, hit that weekly breakout, and then that test that all-time high again. If it does break down and fall, we should be going to that 200-day moving average at 175.87. Let's look at oil, crude oil. So crude oil, we hit that strong support of 51. We reversed and we bounced, had a nice big day, and it got back inside of the symmetrical triangle. And now it's holding that symmetrical triangle's lower trend line. This could easily push to 55, 56 area before it gets resistance at that 50-day moving average, and it could get back inside the 50 and 100-day moving average and consolidate there as 56.80, and 56 general area is a pretty strong resistance. If it does get above that, we do have this downtrend here that could stop it, and we could consolidate even more before we break up or down. But it's looking like it wants to get back inside here and head to that 56 area. So crude oil still slightly bullish since we hit that 51 area. It's been that was really good support. All right, so let's look at that Valero. So Valero, we have this descending triangle pattern where it keeps hitting this area and bounces, and we got close and we bounced. We actually held this trend line here. We bounced, and then we hit that first price target and got a topping tail. So tomorrow we're going to confirm, is this topping tail and it goes down, or if it's any set up a bull flag and then pop up to that 80, 82 area. If it doesn't, if it breaks down, it's going to come back down here to this lower end support at a 73, 72.80, 73 area. All right, let's see. UTX is one that we've been watching for a while. I mentioned that when it gets down here, that 127, you want to buy. So it came down here, it passed the 127, it hit the 200-day, and then from there it has bounced up and is in between the 150-day moving average. And it did form a hanging man, but again, we need to have confirmation on that to see what the direction is going to be. But it's looking good. Held that 127 again, pretty strong, and popped up. If it gets above that 100-day moving average, it could easily go back to 135 and then possibly 138. All right, UTX. Let's get BABA. So BABA's been holding this trend line for a while, and it hit that trend line and bounced up already. Had some rejection on Friday, but they have earnings coming up, and I think earnings is going to push them higher. I think this is going to go higher in general, and maybe even go to the higher end of this pattern before coming down. But it's definitely still looking good. It's still holding this uptrend, so it can definitely push up tomorrow. That 200-day moving average is going to be some resistance there, but I think it could continue to push and go back to the 170s for BABA. See Apple. So Apple, we have this triangle pattern here that it tried to break out of, and then it failed. So try to break out, and it failed. Held the 50-day and 100-day moving average, and then pushed up, and we're at resistance now. But if we get above this 203.50 resistance, then we could definitely see 210 this week on Apple. And if it falls, we come back down here to this 188 area to test this trend line here. But it looks good to push higher. Gets below that 203.50, 210 is going to be coming for the week. All right, let's see. LMT. So LMT is holding this long-term uptrend here. Long-term uptrend here. Bounce and push it up. Friday did put in a indecision candle, so we need to see what Monday brings. If it's going to push up higher or if it's going to drop. If it drops, it's going to come back to this trend line and possibly hold and then try to break out again. But if this holds and it does break out, then this is going to signal fire up to 386 and then possibly 395. So that one looks good. On the monthly, it broke out, making new highs. So that's a good sign. And NOC is also breaking out, making new highs. It held this trend line, pushed it, and then it broke this resistance here on these two candles, broke it up, and then on the daily, it hit the first price target on the daily and formed a indecision candle. So Monday, we got to wait to see what this stock does. Does it pull back and hold, or does it continue and pushing to 383? So we'll see what happens there. A lot of buy volume coming in, which is good to see on a monthly breakout. But don't like the indecision candle, but it could be nothing and it could continue higher. All right, LMT. Let's see. Apple, Baba. All right. So those are the ones I'm watching. I think that the market may push higher. I think some good news is going to come out this week, and the market could push higher and complete the bigger, larger pattern, and that's going to be a little bit later. But we will have a fall, but it might not be this month. It could be in another month or two. So as of right now, we had a failed breakdown, and now we're pushing back up. So we're still inside this rising wedge. And typically, from my experience, whenever we have a fake breakdown in a pattern, we tend to break up. And the same thing when we have a fake break out on a pattern and we come back inside, we tend to break down. So as of right now, we had a fake break out or break down, and now we're turning and trying to push higher. So one thing I am noticing is made a low, made a high, made a higher low, made a higher high, and now we're making a higher low. So if this is going to continue, then this is going to make a higher high, and we're going to make a new all-time high. And that's not only on ES, but it's also on NQ, where we made a low, made a high, higher low, higher high, and a higher low here. And now we're going to, try to push and make a higher high. Same thing on Apple here. Made a low, made a high, made a higher low, made a higher high, made a higher low, and then gonna make a higher high. So market's looking bullish with the fake out of the down. Looks like it's wanting to push up to the upside. So keep that in mind. Always be hedged, especially in this market, because we could turn on a dime and have this happen. So go long, but make sure that you're hedged. Okay, very, very important. We're not out of the woods yet until we break this downtrend, and this area of interest here between 297 and 3000 is the area of resistance. So once we get above that, then that's gonna allow us to break this high. So once we get about close above 3000, close above this resistance line, we're gonna have the opportunity to break this high, and then we're gonna test this uptrend here, this resistance line, and see if we could break it and have a big push, or if we don't and we come back down and we respect that uptrend there. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the weekly watch list. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and I'll be sending it out. Thanks, guys.